So I'm just going to chat a bit today about behaviour change journey so far, and give a couple of examples of some of the work that we've already been doing. So, to kick it off, I'll talk a bit about Love Essex. So, there's always been a need across Essex to have a single voice which represents the Essex Waste Partnership. The Essex Waste Partnership is made up of Essex County Council and then our 12 district and borough councils as well. We used to be Recycle for Essex, but this changed in 2018. We actually adopted the Love Essex branding, and this allowed us to broaden our remit to cover all aspects of sort of waste service updates, alongside the full waste hierarchy. So instead of there being a focus on just recycling waste, we could put out more information on waste reduction and waste reuse. So using the Love Essex brand has a lot of benefits. It's recognisable to our residents, and it means we can put out consistent messaging across a variety of channels. It gives us a platform for our behaviour change campaigns as well, which is great. And it enables us to support and amplify content from our other partners and different brands as well. If I can have the next slide, thank you. So we use a variety of channels to share messages from Love Essex. And this slide just kind of gives an overview of the different ways in which we communicate. We will use different channels based on the campaign that we're running or our target audience. I'm not going to go through all of them in detail today, but the top 3 channels that we tend to use are social media, our e-newsletter and the Love Essex website. And I should also mention that we monitor stats and performance of these channels on a monthly basis, and sort of managing and maintaining these channels and growing our following and engagement is always a priority. So just a couple of high-level stats. So for social media, we've got over 19,000 followers. That's across Facebook, Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter. We have, in this financial year to date, we've had 1 million impressions on social media and 50,000 engagements, and we're currently the 5th largest Essex County Council Facebook page. For our newsletter, e-newsletter, this is delivered monthly to just under 20,000 residents. Our average open rate is 34%. And our average click rate is about 6%. And then on our website, again, this is all monitored regularly. We have an average of 217,000 monthly visitors, and we have just over 360,000 average monthly views on the website. And we are currently looking to develop a new website, which will be launched soon. And we use all of these channels to sort of amplify messages from our district partners or corporate messages, or any educational content that we think would benefit our residents. So before I go into more, I'm going to go into a bit of detail on some of our specific campaigns, but before I do, I just want to give a quick overview, of what we kind of do and what our approach is on behaviour change. So a lot of our campaigns follow a programme of work, which is insight-based, and we identify priority areas and waste streams and materials. So, for example, we know that food makes up 25% of our residual waste at the moment, so that's a high priority. We want to change that. We also rely on our partners in the Essex Waste Partnership to feedback on what's happening sort of at a slightly more local level. So a good example of this was when we ran a single-use plastics campaign a couple of years ago. It's because our district partners were concerned about the amount of single-use items they were getting in their recycling. So we ran that campaign then. We employ a variety of behaviour change tools. We've tried quite a few different things. We've done competitions, we've used financial incentives, we've done pledges. We try different kind of messaging techniques on social media, like social norming. And we appreciate that different approaches will appeal to different audiences. So we do change that up based on who we're trying to target. We also quite often will use mosaic demographic data to inform, again, how we're interacting with people, what messages might land well, and what channels they're more likely to engage with. We're not afraid to try new things. So last year we ran a campaign on reusable period products, which landed really well, and we won a national award for. And then in general, we tend to get quite good engagement on our campaigns. We get good response rates to pledges and surveys, but what we don't know is whether people sustain this behaviour change in the long term. So that's something that is quite hard to monitor. So there's a question mark there over how successful the campaigns are sort of in the long run. So I'm just going to go into a couple of a bit of information on some of the individual campaigns that we've run. This is just a small handful of the stuff that's currently that we're currently doing. We've done loads of stuff in the past. There's lots of stuff coming up, but I'm going to talk today mostly about food. So as I mentioned earlier, food waste is a priority because it takes up it's so much of the residual waste in Essex, 25%. So one thing that's been identified is that we really need to increase participation in the food recycling service. So for this campaign, we're using an intervention-based approach. So we're giving people the means to recycle their food waste by providing caddy liners, like food caddy liners, and educational leaflets. So 375,000 liners and leaflets have been delivered to households in 9 out of our 12 districts. Results are still pending as the campaign is still currently live. But this is also a great example of where we've worked in close partnership with our waste collection authorities. So again, on food, this is a very different campaign. So the Love Essex Love Food campaign is looking to solve a very different problem. We want to look at how we're reducing the amount of edible food that is thrown away. So for this campaign, we've used a combination of behaviour change approaches. So the main is a pledge, where people can pledge to reduce the amount of food they throw away. We've got supporting comms on social media. And there's also a financial incentive tied to this campaign for residents that complete monthly challenges on reducing their food waste. It's also a good example of how we work quite closely with our in-house design team. Those are the people who have helped with these designs on the campaign. They're quite eye-catching, so they've worked with the Love Essex team to develop a sort of a look and feel for this particular campaign. And we've also done quite a lot of user testing on this campaign. So we've used the e-newsletter to do testing to see which types of articles on food waste land well with residents. We've also done a resident survey around food waste as well. So all of this is kind of fed into the types of messaging that we use on this campaign and how we're engaging with our audience. This is closed, this campaign now. We had just under 2,000 pledges to reduce food waste. Just over 1,000 of the food waste challenges were completed by our residents. And overall, the reach from this campaign was just under 3 million, with 230,000 engagements. And reach and engagement have been calculated based on data from the e-newsletter, from social media, from Google Ads, from YouTube videos, and to visitors at events that have been run. And then the final slide. Okay, so then again, kind of, well, still along the lines of food waste, but also garden waste as well now, is home composting. So this is very different to the other two campaigns. It's a long-standing campaign. This has been running for 10+ years. Here, the material we share is mostly educational. We used to run workshops and events pre-COVID, but that's not as much of a thing that we do anymore now. This campaign also has a financial incentive because we offer heavily subsidised compost bins to our residents. We have comms that go out year on year, but they tend to be seasonal. So spring, summertime, that ties in with the optimum time to be composting and gardening. And last year we subsidised just over 1,000 compost bins. So that is just a very quick whistle-stop tour of some of the bits we're already doing and a couple of examples of some of our key campaigns.